Thank you for tuning in and welcome to Errant painting. Today we're going to turn these 20 Necron warriors that I found really cheap on eBay into Flayed ones. And we're going to take all the shortcuts we can. Because Sleeping Bear needs Necrons, Flayed ones, both for Kill Team and for his army. The first thing I want to do with these, as you can see, there are some kitty litter on the bases. But luckily it's glued on there with, I don't know what, water or something, because it scrapes right off. So I'm gonna remove all that, and I'm also gonna clip off their guns. Simply taking a clipper. Let's see here. I don't think we'll need to preserve the hands but maybe we can. Simply, yeah, there goes the hand. No matter, we're going to add some nasty looking blades to that later. And let's see. Then we're gonna try to repose them a bit so they get more hunched and Flayed one-y looking. Oh, the head came right off. That's nice when we can reposition that. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn all 20 into weaponless poor bastards, and then after that we're going to take some steps to turn them into Flayed ones. Now they've been disarmed and I've removed most of the hands too. That doesn't matter, we're going to add some huge hunking claws to them instead. And yeah, I was a bit brutal when disarming them and broke off some hands and heads along the way, and I've tried to reposition them to be more dynamic and melee posed. So yeah, next thing we're gonna do is take some plastic card. I have a nice big sheet of that, and cut out some claws. But first let's get these out of the way. So I cut out a smaller piece of plastic card, and as there are 20 Flayed ones, we're going to need 40 claws. And I just got some regular scissors, because that seems to be the easiest way to work with this. And I'm just gonna cut, not even bothering to draw a line first. Some claw-like shapes, like this one. And I'm gonna do that 40 times. So 1. So, now that they all have claws, it's time to get some of that flayed skin on them to make them really look like Flayed ones. So for that, I have some green stuff. And just to make it visible what I'm doing, we're gonna work on a single Flayed one for this and do the rest off camera. So I made a good large chunk of green stuff because we have a lot of Flayed ones to go through. Now I'm just gonna take a little bit of it, put it on some parchment paper, baking paper as it were, and roll it out. There we go. Then I'm gonna take a sculpting tool, dip it in some water, and cut sort of a triangle shape. For this one at least. For the different Flayed ones, I'll cut different various shapes and do different stuff with it. So now that we have a little triangle, I'm gonna roll it a bit more to flatten it out even further. Dip it in water and start to drag it out. Bit more water to avoid fingerprints. Now we have a nice thin rather deformed looking thingy. Make sure we have plenty of water on the fingers. And then with the sharp edge, I'm just gonna tear it like so. Make some holes in it too. This is supposed to be flayed skin. Like so. Then I'll do various versions of this to the rest of the unit and let it cure overnight. And then we'll come back and put some paint on them. So I've let the green stuff cure overnight and primed the flayed ones using lead belcher spray. If you can't get a hold of lead belcher spray, Army Painter makes one called gunmetal that will do just as fine. And the first thing I want to do is take some Nuln oil and give them a liberal shade. And I'm using this straight out of the bud. With the wash fully dry, I'm gonna take some chainmail silver from Vallejo. Any light silver color will do, and give it a quick and dirty dry brush using a rather large brush. And the brush might seem like overkill, but remember, we have 20 guys to get through. Next, I'll take some Rakarth flesh, and this is obviously for the fleshy bits. With the flesh applied, we're ready for an all-over wash of Agrax Earthjade. This will give them nice shading to the flesh and some oily, dirty finish to the metal. Again, I'm applying this straight out of the pot and rather liberally. While that is, well, almost dry, I'll take some Armageddon dust for the base. And I'm just applying this with a beat up old cheap synthetic brush. You can use a fancy texture tool if you have one, but I find that an old brush is fine for this. Now that the texture paint has finally dried, I'll take some Terminator stone and dry brush the base as well as the flesh parts or skin. Next, I'm gonna paint the eyes with some blue horror. Now, focus. Now we're gonna add a tiny bit of Dragonhof Nightshade to the eyes. And if you, like me, make little mistakes when painting eyes, this should fix them. And finally, I'm gonna add some blood and gore using Blood for the Blood God. And this I'm gonna add to the claws. And a little to the flesh. And with the base trim painted, they're done and ready for the battlefield. I used some old snakebite leather Vallejo makes one just like it called Leather Brown. And yeah, that's just to make them match with the rest of Sleeping Bear's army. They need tuft. I can't find it. We have a bit left somewhere from when we did the bulk of the army. But once I find it, I'll of course add that to them. That'll give them a bit more contrast with some small green tufts on the desert bases. So yeah, this can be done over a weekend. 1 day for building, 1 day for painting. And I think that's pretty neat for 20 miniatures. Especially miniatures with a high level of conversion. Let me know below what you think. I'd like to get some comments on this one. To let me know if you like this kind of videos. Also remember to like, of course. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Until next time, take care and bye bye.